So I had a 3 in high school, and I have a 3. Well, I had a 3.6. I had a 3. I had a 3.6. More of it. I'm a good test taker. Okay, I'm a good test taker, and I'm a great note taker. Hey y'all, it's your girl Tasha. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Please make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notifications so you never miss when I upload a video. I upload beauty, lifestyle, entrepreneurship, and college content. So as you guys can tell from the title, I'm just going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks when note taking. That's in class, home, or virtual school. That's lecture, from the book, from slides, like note taking in any setting. Like no matter if you're going to school, you're going to a seminar, like you can take notes anywhere. Church. This is what I do. And then how to study. If you need to pass a test or you have a homework assignment, I'm just going to cover how I take my notes and then how I study to pass my test. Okay, cool. First things first with note taking, I like to, this is me personally, this is totally up to your discretion, but I like to use at least 2 different pen colors. Don't have to be fancy. It can literally be blue and white. Blue and black. I love using 2 different pen colors because it helps you differentiate titles, subtitles, information. I highly do suggest using that because it will help you figure out and get your eye to look at, okay, what's important, what's the key point, what's the headline, what's the subline, what's the information, then what's something key when you're underlining. Or you could start a sentence, start writing in another color because that's something you want to pop out, and then start back writing in black, if that makes sense. Now, Cornell notes. I popped it up on the screen so you can see how I divide my paper, and then you can also see how I have 2 different pen colors. Depending on the complexity of the text, I'm going to use 3 to 4 different colors. If it's not really complex, if it's, you know, just key points, definitions, I can kind of keep it between 2 colors. But this is Cornell notes, so you're going to split your page. I usually do, you know, you have those red margins on your notebook paper, so I usually go a little bit over the red margin. I don't use a straight line, I draw me a squiggly line. So you're going to have your key points on your left side, and then you're going to have the notes on the bigger side. You have a title at the top or the lesson chapter at the top. I always put my date because I like to reference what I was wearing, what I was doing that day, to try to kind of remember different things that were said to me. Say we want to talk about global issues. We want to define global issues. So we would have global issues here, and then we would have the definition. And then say your teacher gives you an example, gives you an acronym, gives you a synonym, gives you something that helps you remember it. You will go in with blue. So you wrote global issues in black, you wrote your definition in black, but something that stood out to you, something that your teacher said, hey, this is something that's going to help you remember. Hey, this is something I want to ask you about in the test. You will go on with your blue and write it in. But I know in my text, sometimes in my textbook, they'll give me a definition and then they'll put it in layman's term. Like they'll compare it to something. So I will write that in blue as an example, as something to read when I'm not understanding. I'll go and be like, okay, I wrote this in a different color. Okay, and it'll help me remember and help me to understand. I do like to incorporate web maps or like mind maps to help me understand and help me understand how everything in my notes run together, go together, coincide, like how they relate. So mind maps are very, very helpful to help you kind of connect everything that you learn. I don't like putting mind maps in the middle of my Cornell notes. Mind maps is something that I kind of like doing a whole separate page. You can, depending on how big your mind map gets, or how big or how many concepts you have on it, but I don't like to. When you're going to class and you have chapters, you know, you have 1.2, 1.3, like it's the different sections in the chapter. I do advise you writing the outline so that, and this is all incorporated in Cornell notes. So you can have, I like to have my outline on the side because I like to kind of keep up with the discussion or keep up with your slides as you're going. So you know, okay, this information goes in 1.3. This information is relative to 1.4. I do know, depending on what setting and how neat you like to be. Not always, but in lecture I like to jot. So I go back and do my Cornell notes because lectures are like all over the place, and I like my stuff to be organized. I don't want to talk about theory and then the professor may jump to international relations and then he's back on theory, and I'm like, wait, I want international relations, now I'm writing theory under that and it's separated. I want theory to be with theory, I want international relations to be with international relations, I want realism to be with realism, you understand what I'm saying? So I like to jot so that I have full control of my notes. So after I jot, I go back in and you get, like, from my jot paper it jumps, but once I go back I put it all in the place it's supposed to be. I don't have theory coming after international relations or international relations in between this and that. I'm able to go back, condense my notes, and put it in my own understanding. So I do advise a jot paper if you're really organized and if it helps you so your notes aren't all over the place, because lectures can, you know, they flow. People ask questions, they flow. A tape recorder. I don't own a tape recorder. I use my voice memos on my phone. Highly recommend it. This more for college, more for seminar, especially if you don't want to take your attention away from the speaker or a discussion that may happen during a lecture, during a seminar, during class, if anything like that. Because I like my global issues class. So I have my jot paper, yes, of course, and then I have my voice memos going because say there's something, or I have a question, or we might break out into a class discussion and I want to participate. I can't, you know, talk and write at the same time. So I have my voice memo going because even though there's a discussion going on, there's probably valuable information about the chapter was going to be on the quiz in that discussion. So I always like to have my voice memo going. I don't want to be focused. I'm not going to necessarily want to write, so I'm going to have my voice memos going, and then it's just certain stuff, even if you are taking notes, even if you aren't participating, it's just certain stuff that you just don't catch the first time. I do highly recommend them for just going back and being able to listen, because I know my professor, he uploads slides, but majority of what's going on in class is what we're going to be tested on. So, and another part of good note taking is understanding what the lecture is about altogether. So if you're assigned a reading, or you have chapters, or you have videos, like reference videos before the lecture, it's always good to at least not fully read or at least skim the text and then watch those videos, so when you get in class and the discussion is going on or notes are being done, you're not completely lost as to what are we talking about. You'll have some inclination as to what is going on. Always read and watch your video resources before class, before you try to make notes, and before you try to make an understanding of stuff to put in note form. Okay, I write in Ebonics in my notes. Now, I'm an excellent writer. I've never got less than an A on the paper, but I use abbreviations. I use W with the slash for with. I use like all type of stuff for my understanding. I use a number sign. I use dot dot dot. Use that stuff. You don't have to write out every little thing. It's best to know exactly what you need out of the text. So my mistake when I was first learning how to take notes was every time I was reading and I thought something was important, I was stopping and writing it down and would slow my stuff down. The best thing to do is to read your questions first. So just flip to the end of the chapter or flip through the chapter and see some questions. Write those down, so when you're reading, you look and you're like, okay, boom, let me write this down, because everything that's in the text is not needed. Some stuff is just supporting details. Some stuff is just to help you understand. It's not always needed. So make sure that you're not wasting your time by writing too much information down and writing full sentences and copying full paragraphs. That's what the text is for you to read. You don't need to write all that down. I promise you. Now we got some notes taking, whatever out the way. Let's talk about studying. So studying, my first thing is, like I mentioned, even before you take notes, even before you take your notes or go to class, read and watch videos. So say you didn't read before class, you didn't watch the videos, and even if you did after class and you like, holy moly, what were we talking about? Like I was there, but then I wasn't there. Then some things I understand, some things I didn't. Go read and make connections. Okay, he said this, he said that. That's where your voice memos come in. You're listening back, you're reading back, and you're like, okay, boom, I got it. Let's, you know. So I do highly recommend Quizlet. Quizlet is great. So if you have key terms, you know, vocabulary that you need to know, you need to fully understand, it's best to make your very own flashcards. So you're just gonna go in there. It's free to use. You literally sign up with your email, you press create, you put the word, you put the definition, and then once you get done with it, you press learn, and then it helps you learn. Quizlet is gonna be great for that. If your vocabulary set is already on there, you don't necessarily have to make you one, but every class is unique, every class is different. Every set is not gonna have all of the words that you need. Some might. And if you find that, good. But if not, you can make your own, and it's free to use. It's free to use. So while you're studying, another good thing to study is homework. And when I say homework, I mean do your homework and get correct answers. So if you do your homework, you get some stuff wrong, go get the right answers and study what you got wrong. So that when the test comes, it's like, okay, boom, I got this wrong during my homework, but I went and got the right answer. I know what it is, so that when the test comes, I'm good. So you're like correcting yourself, and you're studying something that wasn't really, that you really didn't understand, that you really didn't grasp because you got it wrong in your homework. Do your homework, get the right answers, study what you got wrong, and study the right answers. Because even if you made a guess, even if you just went out on a limb, because there's been plenty of times I done answered some stuff and I'm just like, I really don't know, but this is what I think it is. So if it's questions like that and you got it right, you're like, oh, okay, let me look into that. Study your homework. Your homework is going to help you, because they don't give you homework just to begin with, so your homework is most likely always going to be what your test is about. Study your homework, study your wrong and right answers that you didn't think you were going to get right. This one is kind of like redundant, like, duh, you should do this. I know some people that don't. Use your study guides, okay? Use your study guides. I remember I had a teacher where our study guide was literally our test. It was all memorization. It's not all going to be like that, but what they put in that study guide, it's going to be on the test. Do it. Just like the homework, do your study guide. Either turn it in or collaborate with a peer. See what they got, see what's different from theirs to yours. Take it to your teacher, you know, get online, see if you can find out the answers, see what you got wrong in the study guide, and study it, because it's going to be on the test. That's what a study guide is for. Use your study guide. That's going to be a banger for you. It's to take advantage of your study guide and use them. I know they're sometimes lengthy, they're sometimes like extra work, like I already got homework, then you got the study guide. It's like, man, I ain't gonna do your study guides. Figure out what's wrong, figure out what's right, and study them, because it's going to be in the test. They're telling you what you need to know for your test. Like, it goes without saying that it needs to be done. Like, it just needs to be done. This last one, this is something that I am preaching to the choir about, because I used to do this. Don't take your test at 10 or 11 o'clock and just do it at 11:59. Give yourself enough time to sit, focus, elaborate, think, skip some questions, and come back to some questions. Allow yourself enough time to where you're not feeling rushed, you're not anxious. Set some time aside, because it will affect you. Like, I didn't think it would affect me, but it's just like, I would get done, I would go back, and I'm like, I knew that, but because I was moving so fast and I was feeling rushed, I accidentally hit the wrong one. Didn't have time to go back and review. Like, stuff like that. So make sure you're giving yourself enough time to give yourself the full allotted time to finish your test. And the last thing, this is something personal that I just do because I kind of got like a photographic memory, but this is why I'm so organized with my notes, and stuff have to be in a certain place in different colors, because I close my eyes to remember. So so if I have, like I said, I have my topics here, my body here, and say there was like a little star asterisk note that I wanted to write in a different color that I wrote on one side of the paper, like something that was really, really important, or just a definition period. Because I have my notes lined up, and because I've looked over my notes and I know where everything is, and I know this, but I can't really remember, I'm like, okay, where was it on my paper? No, it wasn't there, oh, got it. And I remember literally where it is on my paper, and then remember the whole concept and everything I wrote just by remembering where it is on the paper. So that's the best thing about being organized, is I can close my eyes and remember where stuff is on my paper. Like literally see my paper, my notes in my head, and remember what color was in and all of that. So yeah. And I have a, Mom, what was my GPA in high school? 3.8.
Yeah, 3.8.
Yeah. So I had a 3 in high school, and I have a 3. Well, I had a 3.6. I had a 3. I had a 3.6.
2. Now you're up to 3.3.
Now I'm at a 3.3 because But more of it, I'm a good test taker. Okay.
Finally.
I'm a good test taker, and I'm a great note taker. I'm a good test taker. I'm a great note taker. Like, I get that compliment from everybody. So like I always say, I hope I help somebody. I know even if you are in college, even if you're just taking a course, a seminar, a business class, your business coach, any little thing, these things at work is not just for school. Like, this is user friendly across the board. I hope I help somebody. I hope you guys, you know, benefit from this at the end of the day. Like, you see a change in your note taking, your grades, your assignments, and any little thing. If there's anything I talked about that you guys want me to go more in depth in, I'm very, very open to that. Just let me know. Like I always say, just let me know, and I will get back on here and do it. Like, I'm always open. Like, I'm here for y'all. At the end of the day, I'm here for y'all. If you like this video, if you like any of my other videos, please make sure you leave a really, really big thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. Like I keep saying, because I just have so much stuff on the way. Like, it's just like, when I just think about everything, it's just like, oh my god, like I can't wait to put this out. So yeah, the next time I'll be seeing you guys will be this Friday. I'm coming back with Free Game Fridays. If you don't know what that is, Free Game Fridays is just a segment that I came up with where I just give you guys big sister advice about anything that you guys tell me to talk about. I've talked about overthinking. I talked about dealing with laws. Like, I touched on a number of things before. So I'll be back. I'm bringing my segment back. I've missed it. It's my baby. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys back on my next video. Bye.